All right, we're going to get started, please. This is a regular school board meeting, Wednesday, September 7th, 2022. It's called to order, and before we do that, I hope everyone had a enjoyable Labor Day weekend with your family and friends. And with that said, we'll get on with the business of the meeting. Invocation by Mr. Barry Plaisance, and please remain standing.
Bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight requesting your wisdom, guidance, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussions. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture a bond of community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that will affect the faculty, staff, students, and all stakeholders of the Lafourche Parish School District. May we always remember that everything we do in our capacity here tonight is for your greater glory of you and the service of humanity. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Superintendent, roll call back.
Here.
Ms. Bell?
Here.
Ms. Thomas?
Here.
Ms. Fertitta?
Here.
Mr. Bootery? Here. Dr. Guillat? Here. Ms. Bourgeois?
Here.
Ms. Robichaud?
Here.
Mr. Schwest?
Here.
Mr. Plaisance? Here. Mr. LaPlanis? Mr. LaFont? Here. Mr. Archer? Here. Mr. Bernard? Here. Mr. Adams? Here.
All present, and we have a quorum. And at this time, I'd like to recognize our new interim board member, Brendan Dorador Robichaud. And it's glad to have you here. You take over for Mr. Tyler Dufresne, who has another great job opportunity in Washington, and we look forward to you being with us. And the benefit of that is you're get a chance to come to our Christmas board.
Perfect timing, I'd say.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you.
Don't speak too much of my tips,
Okay, with that said, the first on the agenda is Mrs. Christine Russell, our Lafourche Parish District Attorney.
Good evening. Thank you once again for allowing me to come before you as the school year begins. And I have my cheat sheet. We really look forward to this partnership with Lafourche Parish Schools. Our staff really looks forward to it. And so I just want to just briefly tell you what programs that we have to offer this year. And we're excited about one of our new programs. When we came up a couple of years ago with that Respect You, and for those of you who were here a few years ago, that's kind of what we called all of our programs, Respect You. That was the umbrella, because the word respect is what we found was the one thing sort of missing in our community, in our nation. So we wanted to bring that word back into our vocabulary, and we spoke with our children. So every program underneath Respect You has something to do about respect, whether it respect yourself, your body, others, and your community. So for our fourth graders, we have a program we go in talking about just good decision making and just about making good choices at a fourth grade level. When we get to sixth grade, we have Project Lead. It sort of changed throughout the years. What we really had before COVID and the curriculum allowed, we really went in once a month and kind of talked to our classes, but we know now there's no way we can do that. So we're going to offer a mock trial at the end of the year for that grade level to make sure that we show them what good decision making and what bad decision making and what the consequences are. For eighth grade, we have it's called PEP. It's Personal Empowerment Program. We have one geared to the girls and one geared toward the boys. The girls program is really just about self-esteem and confidence, because we know at that age they struggle. And we firmly believe that if we can give that age self-confidence and girls self-confidence, things like carnal knowledge and other crimes, sexting, maybe we can eradicate it if we have girls feeling good about themselves. For the boys, it's about controlling the urge to fight, about violence, about how to control that. So that's a program that we're very excited about. We're adding this year a program for ninth graders, and we have partnered with someone in the medical community for a vaping program. And so we're excited about that. We had schools that certainly have asked us if we could put together a program about vaping, and we have done that over the summer, and we're excited about it. 12th grade will continue with our Domino program. We've partnered with Sudden Impact this year so that we can participate in the mock trial as well as do our domino program, which is so powerful each and every year for our seniors. Two things that we also have now, we still partner with the Children's Advocacy Center to present on either good touch, bad touch, internet safety, cyberbullying, and sexting, and we will continue to do that. We present to children, but we also present to parents and other groups. And we have our wobble goggles that we purchased, where you put the goggles on and you attempt to perform acts, but you're impaired with the goggles on, and those are fun for our students to see the effects. And finally, our pantry's back. As most of you know, after Ida, we've gotten so many generous donations, and L'Oreal came in, and we can go a whole nother year. So 9 schools so far have signed up. We are willing, anybody who needs it, we're already talking to some donors to continue it and allow us to continue it. I would love to see us partner with you guys and have the pantry for as many schools that need it forever in the future, because I think our community needs that. We've already met with Mr. Phils about truancy to make sure that we're ready to go with that. So our office is ready to partner. We are looking forward to it. We want to make sure our schools know that we are there when they need us. The programs are there when we need us, and we are there to go in even if we don't have a program yet. And they call us and say, could you do X, Y, and Z? We will be there and we will do it. So we're excited. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. If anybody has any questions or anything, or you have some ideas, please reach out to me, and we're ready to listen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Roselaw. I as a supervisor, I had the opportunity to attend these domino programs, and that was tremendous how one similar act leads to a succession of other acts. And
my predecessor put that together, and we certainly adopted it, and it is an amazing program. Yeah. So I'm thankful that you allow us to continue to do it. Thank you.
Any comments from? Okay. Judge Stephen Miller, Division D, 17th Judicial District Court. Mr. Miller.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to speak to you this evening. I hate following Christine because she can work without notes. Although I know most of you. She did. She wasn't looking. My eyes don't work that good. I appreciate y'all letting me speak to you today. My name is Steve Miller, and I'm one of your district court judges here in Lafourche Parish. My jurisdiction includes all of Lafourche Parish. I'm a proud resident of Lafourche Parish and a product of our public school system, so I'm proud of that. It means a lot, too, to speak to you as a group, because my parents were educators. They were teachers for many years in Lafourche Parish and other places. So I would say that y'all know what it means to be the child of an educator. I think maybe that means, my joke is, that I do my homework, so I can give that to you. I've served as a judge since I was elected in 2014, and then in 2020, I was elected without opposition. I'm now in my 8th year on the bench, and prior to that, I was about 12 years in the district attorney's office. All that time with Ms. Russell, who was leapfrog well beyond me in her current position. As a judge, I've handled civil cases. I've handled thousands of criminal cases, family law matters, juvenile court, child support. Juvenile court, of course, Mr. Bernard, we had interactions before I was a judge, and I think after. I'm also the drug court judge, which I'm really proud of. I think it really contributes to our community, brings families back together. It's real important. And we started the family preservation court, which is for child in need of care cases, essentially, another specialty court that we have. Every day in court, I do my best to be fair, prepared, to work hard, and to treat all litigants with respect. At the beginning of July, Judge Whipple announced that she was not seeking re-election to her seat that she's held for about 30 years on the First Circuit Court of Appeal. So this opened up the seat I'm running for, an open seat. I'm not running against any of our other local judges. This is the 8-parish district that I'm running in. It's a smaller part of the greater First Circuit. So the 8 parishes are St. Mary, Terrebonne, Lafourche, Assumption, Ascension, Iberville, West Baton Rouge, and Point Coupee parishes. I see the map in my head as I'm going through it, to try not to skip anything. So I have the experience and training to serve in this important position. An appeals court judge reviews the actions of trial court judges, and I'm the only judge in this race. I'm prepared to serve, and that is why I decided to run. I'm here to ask for your support and vote. Just to give you a little bit of information about who I am, I'm from Lockport, 55 years old. I was the second of 7 children. Both of my parents, like I said, taught in the school system. My dad taught until he retired, but my mom later became a nurse. And I have to mention that because that was real special to her, and I think it deserves mention. I graduated from Central Lafourche High School in 1985, LSU in 1989, and Tulane Law in 94. I worked in the shipyards and the plants to get my way through school. And when I graduated from law school, I wanted to come back to the Bayou. Didn't have any family that were attorneys, so I hung a shingle and I started practicing in Thibodeau. Things were slow at first, but I got trial experience in the public defender's office, and then I joined the district attorney's office for 12 years and spent my career mostly in the courtroom. I spent a lot of time in court, tried a lot of cases. My family, my wife and I decided where we wanted to live, and it's Lafourche Parish. We've been here our entire marriage. We've been married 20 plus years. And my daughter, Emma, we dropped off at LSU a few weeks ago. Rough. And my son, Jack, is a senior at ED White, a little rougher maybe. Once again, I ask for your support. I'm prepared to serve, and I ask that you allow me to serve you, continue to serve you, your judge on the First Circuit Court of Appeal. Thank you very much.
Judge Miller, we wish you well throughout your campaign. Just a side note, I had the opportunity to work with Judge Miller, and he's always been a strong advocate for the children students of the Lafourche Parish. So nice seeing you again, Judge.
Thank you.
All right, with that said, let's look at number 2, awards and recognition. Introduce new district staff members.
Yes, sir. We have the new Human Resources Manager I'd like to introduce to the board, Ms. Tiffany Guy.
Hi. I just want to say thank you to the board, Superintendent Martin, and to Mr. Robbie Lee for the opportunity in Human Resources. I worked in Human Resources before, and I just couldn't help but to work for another Mr. Martin. And I am a Lafourche resident. My daughter will grow up in our Lafourche school district. She's in pre-K this
Okay, recognize the recipients of the 2022 Louisiana Agri-Science Teacher Association Hall of Fame. Mr. Moore.
Mr. Dill.
Good evening. For many years, Central Lafourche High School has been known for its ag program around the whole state of Louisiana. As a young assistant principal at Central Lafourche many years ago, I got an opportunity to meet these two gentlemen and observe firsthand the sheer volume of students that they impacted as teachers and as mentors at Central Lafourche High School. I was able to observe them in their classes and their lessons that they taught that were so rich and full of life lessons in addition to the content that they taught. They're great teachers, but they're better men. They have mentored thousands of students at Central Lafourche High School, and they are known statewide for the types of programs that they ran in their years at Central. The Louisiana Agriculture Teachers Association recommends a small number of people each year to enter into that Hall of Fame, and a committee vets those recommendations. And at that conclusion, as fitting that both would receive this great honor at the same time, two brothers, Mr. Roddy Bro and Mr. Mark Bro, Louisiana Agriculture State Hall of Fame 22.
Congratulations, man. Thank you all very much. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Before we go to the next one, I'd be remiss if I wouldn't recognize a former school board member and also a former president of this organization, Julie Gross. Thank you for being here.
I'd like to see some.
Yes.
I asked Mr. Delcom to recognize these two wonderful men for two reasons. One, I'm very proud of my brother-in-law and his brother. And two, this is what teaching is all about. They have definitely made an impact on their students and their colleagues. To be in this Hall of Fame, the initiation has to start from a student or a colleague. The student that initiated was one of Mark's students, and now is one of the ag teachers at Central, where they both taught. So I thought that was worth noting. So thank you, gentlemen.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Blazes. I am a product of both of these men. Don't hold that against me. Mr. Mark Grove coached football. I think he came in
26.
Yeah, right after, and then I went to Mr. Roddy Group with Ag from Mr. Mobile at Lockport. There's one thing that Mr. Delcom said that is definitely true with both of y'all. Y'all were great teachers, but y'all were even better men. And you taught us young men and women, we had a lot of women, the next game of life, which we don't get in the normal classroom, but y'all gave it to us. And it could have been livestock judging, which I did for Mr. Roddy Group. But it was the small things that I still do and think about daily that we did back then. We learned how to weld. And we just learned so many different things in the game of life that these two men taught thousands and thousands of young men and women. It's an honor that y'all are here, and y'all definitely 100% deserve this and much more. Thank y'all.
All right, at this time, we'd like to recognize the recipient named as Louisiana's 2021-2022 Homeless Liaisons of the Year.
Okay, so Miss Quintina Brown has been named as Louisiana's 2021-2022 Homeless Liaison of the Year by the Louisiana Department of Education. She is recognized as an effective and courageous leader navigating the many challenges faced by students and families that experience homelessness, especially during the aftermath of Hurricane Ida. Congratulations, Quintina Brown.
Just very quickly before she speaks, Ms. Enclave mentioned it. The number of folks that we had that got displaced that then qualified for protections under McKinney-Vento and homeless, it was tremendous for the efforts that her office had to do to make sure that all of the folks that were displaced and lost their homes, even though temporarily, were taken care of, was truly tremendous. So thank you for what you've done for Lafourche Parish. Phenomenal efforts.
And not only that, I had the opportunity to work with her with Juvenile Justice Commission, and I guarantee you, she was the lady who took care of everything that was in front of her as far as children were concerned. We really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Number 3, approval of board consent agenda. If you don't mind, I'd like to read A through E, and then after that, I'll accept the motion to approve them as read. Approval of board consent agenda. I'd Letter A, approval of board consent agenda items. B, minutes of board member in service held August 1st, 2022. C, minutes of special board meeting, public hearing, budget adoption held on August 3rd, 2022. D, minutes of regular board meeting held August 3rd, 2022. E, to proclaim September 17th through the 23rd, 2022 as Constitution Week in Lafourche Parish Schools in conjunction with the Bayou Lafourche chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. Can I have a motion, please? Repeated. Second, Mr. Adams. Any discussion from the public? Discussion from the board? Ms. Please vote. Yeah. All right, let's go on to the next segment. Number 4, executive session. Consider entering into executive session pursuant to the provisions of revised statute 4217:7 for the following purpose. To consider a recommendation for expulsion for an out-of-district private school student dismissal. At this time, we'd like to have a motion, please, to that effect. Okay, we have Ms. Bourgeois. Do we have a second? Ms. Babin. Any comments from the board, public? Let's vote, please. Unanimous. At this time, we'll go into executive session, and our timekeeper, Ms. Babin, at the right time. All right. Thank you. We'll be reconvening after the executive session. If you'd like to continue with the meeting. Letter B, to return to regular session and take appropriate action. Do I have a motion? Okay. Motion. Mr. Schwess, a second. Ms. Thomas, any discussion? At this point, we'll take appropriate action in this case.
I move to approve the superintendent's recommendation to allow admittance of the student in accordance with the terms of the conditional enrollment.
Dion? Do we have a second?
Yes,
Okay, I'm sorry. Any discussion at this point? Mr. LaFawn?
After long discussions in executive session and listening to the statements of everyone, I think I normally would vote not against this recommendation, but probably to change the recommendation somewhat. But the thing that swayed me at the end is when you kept mentioning the parents are on board with this. And since the parents are on board with it, I will vote to approve it.
Any other comments from the board? Yeah? Comments from the public? That said, let us please vote on that recommendation.
Vote.
All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Thank you, Mr. Cook. That said, we'll move on to the next order of business. Number 5, approval of policy and procedure committee recommendations as per meeting held August 16, 2022. Ms. Bourgeois.
I move to approve revisions to policies BH, school board ethics, DJE, purchasing, DJED, bids and quotations, EDD, school bus scheduling and routing, GAAA, equal opportunity employment, GAMB, employee dress code, JAA, equal education opportunities, JVD, student absentee excuses, JCDAF, bullying and hazing, JCDB, student dress code, JD, discipline, JDE, expulsion, JGC, student health services, JGCD, administration of medication, JQE, expectant and parenting students, and new policy JM, student voter registration.
Do we have a second? Dr. Gill, any discussion of members of the board on any of these comments?
I just want to say that all of these policy changes can come across to us because of legislation that has happened. In forethought, our company sends us the changes they feel that we should make. Our supervising staff looks over the changes and makes the correct changes, and then also our attorney approves of them. So all of this has taken place to get to the board.
Thank you, Ms. Bourgeois. Any other comments from members of the board? Any comments from the public? Please come up. We'd ask you please to come to the podium, state your name clearly, and you have 5 minutes to state any opinion you may have or any explanation
116 CS
pertaining to this agenda item.
Jamie Marble, 116 CS Lane, Lockport. The discipline policy, JD, I do have a comment on that. It's regarding what I had emailed all of y'all about, because the school attorney has not returned my call or called me as I was told. So I'm kind of going to talk about what I need to talk about and then go from there.
I asked to speak on this on the agenda, policy, and procedure committee meeting and was denied, and spoke to
Can you
Mr.
speak a
Martin.
little louder, please?
Okay. And spoke to Mr. Martin on the discipline policy. The student parent handbook on page 17 titled Disciplinary Infractions During Summer and After School Hours. The statute cited as RS 17416.1, and it states, considering the obligation of the LPSD to the education of all children, LPSD's disciplinary rules will apply to criminal, quasi-criminal, and civil disturbances performed by students during the summer months or times during when students are not under the direct supervision of the school authority. And examples are after school hours, weekends, holidays, emergency days, as follows. Any act where there's a connection to the learning environment as determined by the hearing officer. Any act, in the opinion of the hearing officer, that would constitute a health and safety factor. Any act, whether criminal, quasi-criminal, or a civil violation, that would cause the hearing officer, after listening to all of the facts, to deem it a threat or a heinous repudiation of the LaFouche Parish school system. When first reading this, I thought this was to apply to athletes or clubs, but it is for all students. We as a community understand that there needs to be accountability and order in the school system. 50 years ago, we did not have the internet and social media. However, the due process section of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution guarantees me my parental rights to bring up my child. One could argue that includes disciplining my own child. The other is to have a say in my child's education. There are times that students can do something that is disruptive to the learning environment, and when that occurs in after hours, most parents agree that the school should be allowed to discipline. But when the children are in the care of their parents or legal guardians, as described in the disciplinary during summer and after school hours, and they commit a crime that is not a disruption to the learning environment, as a parent, I feel you have no say in what my children do on my time and do not have the right to discipline my children when they are on my time. Upon asking for the wording to change to have a better explanation of what it is the child must have done, explain number 2 to say staff and students to state detrimental to the learning environment placed throughout this rule, I was told no, it stands and will not be changed. This is scary as a parent. If you read the cited statute, it speaks of corporal punishment and lawsuits. There is a section in the listed statute that reads, in addition to the specific disciplinary measures authorized in RS 17416, teachers, principals, and administrators of the public schools may, subject to any rules as may be adopted by the parish or city school board, employ other reasonable disciplinary and corrective measures to maintain order in the schools, provided, however, that nothing in this section shall be construed as superseding the provisions of RS 17416 relative to the discipline of students, suspensions, and expulsions. Upon reading both statutes, there is nothing that says you can discipline my children after hours. In statute 17416, it does state, and I'll take the shorter version of it rather than reading the entire that applies. Every teacher and other school employee shall endeavor to hold to every student accountable for his behavior in school or on the playgrounds of the school, on the street or road, while going to or returning from school, on any school bus during intermission or recess, or on any school-sponsored activity or function. Nothing in this subparagraph shall prohibit a public school governing authority or its employees from disciplining a student in accordance with the provisions of this section. There is nothing in either statute that allows, from what I can read, for this to take place as it's reading in the handbook. And as far as I'm aware of, for what A says in the statute, is that our community still disciplines their children. And like I said, there's nothing in the policy JD. It states this rule is a part of our school board policy. The policy states LaFouche Parish School Board shall endeavor to address student behavior with a focus on evidence-based interventions and supports, and to prioritize classroom and school-based interventions in lieu of out-of-school disciplinary removals to address student misconduct in order to minimize the loss of academic instructional time. Every student or every teacher and other school employee shall endeavor to hold each student accountable for his or her behavior in school or on the playgrounds of the school or on a school bus, on the street or road, while going to and returning from school during intermission or recess at any school-sponsored activity or function. The discipline JD also states to assist the teacher, the school board shall establish regulations for the use of disciplinary measures within the schools and continually to monitor and appraise their usefulness. Discipline shall be administered uniformly, consistently, and in a non-discriminatory manner in accordance with the school board student code of conduct.
Pablo, you have 10 seconds left.
Basically, I asked for an explanation in the email for you guys to educate me if I was wrong. I was asked to wait. That's why I didn't bring up at a committee.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up. We appreciate it. And thank you. Any other public comment? If not, let's vote, please. Okay, unanimous. Let's go on to number 6, approval of academic committee recommendations as per meeting held August 16th, 2022. Ms. Bass.
A, to approve the expansion of early childhood education through Type 3 microcenters. So moved.
We have a second. Ms. Bourgeois, any discussion? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just want to say, maybe we could have Miss, Ms. Aguilar do this little explanation so everybody understands.
I think that's
It's
excellent.
so
Yes.
exciting.
Let me ask before you get into that. This meets the legislative mandates that have come out as far as pre-K learning is concerned.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Addressing early childhood. Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead. You got the floor.
So, excuse my voice, I've been sinusing. The early childhood expansion through micro centers is a partnership between the school district and child care centers that are currently in our network. This partnership would allow for the expansion of quality child care education classes in our schools. This expansion would consist of an additional 78 seats for 3 and 4-year-old children who otherwise would be on a waiting list. And it provides additional opportunities and choice for families in need. So we ask for your approval of this expansion project.
Any questions? Yes. Ms. Booth.
Just to be clear, this will take place next school year?
Yes, ma'am. So the tentative timeline, pending approval, we would love to open these classes August of 2023.
And may I add, this is a pilot program.
It's a pilot, yes, sir.
1 year.
And funded federally.
Any other questions? Mr. Art.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very exciting program. We're looking forward to a lot of great results. And I know with you and your team, you'll do very well. So I'm expecting those results. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other comments? Board, any comments from okay, if not, let's go. I'm sorry. You have a comment? Come forward, please. Speak loudly, your name and address.
Jamie Markle, 116 CLS Line
You need to
Lockport.
speak a little bit louder, please.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Jamie, for today. I know you're not
Could
feeling.
you repeat your name again? A little louder.
Jamie Markle, 116 CLS Lane Lockport,
Very good.
70374.
In case somebody's streaming in and doesn't get that opportunity to hear you and your address, you may address it.
I would like to say thank you to Miss Jimmy. I know she's not feeling well today, but she did answer a lot of my questions, and I greatly appreciate that. And it brought a little bit of more of an understanding of the concerns that I had. So I just wanted to let her know that it meant a lot. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Muller. Okay, with that said, let us go. Okay. With that said, let's go on to number 7, approval of insurance committee recommendations as per meeting held August 17, 2022. Ms. Fertitta.
A, to accept the renewal quote recommended by Carmel Bro of Norris Insurance Consultants, Inc. for workers' comp excess insurance coverage. So moved.
Mr. LaFawn, any discussion by the board? Any discussion by, now let's vote, please. Yeah. Okay, letter B.
To accept the proposed renewal for Humana Medicare Advantage for the 2023 plan year as recommended by Mr. Buddy today. So moved.
Do we have a second? Do we have any discussion? Public?
Yeah.
I think the retirees are going to be really happy because there will be a slight decrease in the amount of insurance that they pay. So I know that'll make them very happy. And thank you, Mr. Buddy, for finding that.
All right, any public, Buddy, any comments you'd like to make? All right, with that said, let's vote, please. Okay. Let's see.
To accept the proposal of Elixir for pharmacy benefit services for the 2023 plan year as presented by Buddy Leday of Gallagher Benefits and Services, Inc. So moved.
We have a second. Who's back? Any comments from the board? Ms. Boucher?
It's my understanding that this was a 3-year program.
Yeah, Buddy Leday, Gallagher Benefit Services. Yeah, it's a 3-year deal, but it allows you to get out at any point in time if for any reason whatsoever with 90 days of notice. So similar contract to what you've had in the past with Express Scripts and Script Care.
All right, now that he's up here, anybody else have a question? Okay, thank you. Any comments from the public? Okay, let's vote, please. Okay, one.
Letter D, to accept the proposal of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana for medical third-party administrative TPA services for the 2023 plan year. So moved.
We have a second. Ms. Boucher. Any discussion about the, any discussion from the public? Let's vote, please. Okay, thank you, Mr. Tita. Let's go to number 8, approval of Finance Committee recommendations as per meeting held August 17th, 2022. Mr. Buttery.
A, to award the only responsive and responsible bidder, Metric Consulting LLC, as the awarded vendor for debris monitoring and management services. So moved.
Do we have a second? Mr. LaPointe. Any discussion by the board? Discussion by the public? Let's vote. And it's unanimous. Continue, Mr. Buttery.
Item B, to award by line items according to the lowest and most responsible and responsive bidders for janitorial services. So moved.
Do we have a second? U.S. Board discussion? Public discussion? Not, let's vote, please. And it's unanimous. Okay, Mr. Buttery.
C, to award by line items according to the lowest, most responsible and responsive bidders for athletic equipment and supplies. So moved.
Second. Adam? Question by the board? Question by the public? Let's vote. And I should have. Mr. Buttery?
D, to award by line items according to the lowest, most responsive and responsible bidders for classroom equipment and supplies. So moved.
Have a second? Please, on. Discussion board, public, vote please. Unanimous. Letter E.
Review bids received for band equipment and supplies and award by line items according to the lowest price, first available, most responsive and responsive bidders for band equipment and supplies. So moved.
US. Any discussion by the board? Public, vote please. Unanimous. Letter F.
To award the highest scored, most responsive and responsible bidder, DRC Emergency Services, as the awarded vendor for emergency debris removal services. So moved.
Stephen. Board. Public. Let's vote please. Unanimous. Letter G, sir.
To award the highest scored, most responsive and responsible bidder, guaranteed restoration for emergency restoration and maintenance services. So moved.
Abbott, second. Board discussion. Public. Please vote. Letter H,
To
sir.
award the highest scored, most responsive and responsible bidder, Grand Isle Shipyard, for emergency roof repair. So moved.
Second. Archer. Discussion board. Discussion public. Let's vote please. Unanimous.
To accept addendum 1 to the standard form of agreement between Lafourche Parish School Board and Freetown Builders, LLC. So moved.
Bourgeois. Comments board. Comments public. Not this vote please. Okay. And finally,
To accept amendment number 3 to the professional services agreement between the Lafourche Parish School District and Gill Industries Limited. So moved.
second. Glavin. Board discussion. Mr. Plaisance.
Mr. President, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Bias for everything you put together here. It made it a lot easier for us to say yes to. So thank you.
Any other comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Not this vote, please. And it's unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Bootery. That was a lot of letters there. Appreciate it. All right, let's go to number 9. Approval of Land and Facilities Management Committee recommendations as per meeting held August 17th, 2022. Mr. Barry, please.
A, to approve a change order request to add 21 additional days to the contract due to inclement weather at the new Thibodeau Middle School. So moved.
Do we have a second? Second. Any discussion?
After looking at the pictures that were sent of the days that they were working in ankle deep water with electricity, I think they definitely deserve those 21 extra days. Just a little pump.
Regardless of.
Hey, I seconded.
Yeah.
Any other comments from the board? Mr. Player.
Yeah. The pictures that were sent out came from our land and facilities manager, and when I saw them, I went, "What is that? And where is that?" I'm like, "Oh my!" But I have to give it to the contractor because what he did to remedy the problem and to continuously be able to work, pretty impressive. I mean, they did a good job, and it's back to normal. But we've had a solid 21 days of rain plus. I think we've had enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I just want a comment. I wanted to let Mr. LaFont know that at the committee, we asked the architect to document the rain days. Mr. LaFont wasn't here, but I wanted to take care of it for him.
Good job. And I appreciate that, Mr. Bootery.
Any other comments by the board? Any comments from the public? Not. Is that a yay vote for this? No.
That's right. 14.
Okay, unanimous. Let's go on to letter B.
B, to approve a change order request, number 1, as required by the Louisiana Fire Marshal's Office in the amount of $35,584 and to add 15 additional days to the contract. 2, to add waterproofing products to the contract in the amount of $101,189 as per the contract documents. The LPSD was to purchase this material. So moved.
We have a second. Bootery, any discussion about the board?
Yes, that is at the new middle school, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Down on the agenda.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion? Public? No? Let's vote. And that is unanimous. And I guess we need to add somewhere in there that it is for. All right. Letter C.
C, to approve a change order request for temporary off-site storage of the competition gym wood floors for South Lafourche High School in the amount of $3,855. So moved.
We have a second. Truax? Any comments by the board? Any comments from the public? Let's vote, please. Unanimous. Letter D.
E, to approve a change order request to 1, replace a leaking water valve at Central Lafourche High School in the amount of $1,125. 2, to add 48 additional days to the contract due to delivery delays for the exterior doors. 3, to make electrical repairs at Central Lafourche High School and South Lafourche High School due to unmarked line locations in the amount of $5,222.60. So moved.
Bourgeois, comments by the board? There's the public, please vote. Sorry, Mr. Plaison.
Thank you, Mr. President. To explain the 48 additional days, we're still waiting on the doors, and that's why the amount of days of what the delivery day is.
Any other comments? Comments from the public? No, let's vote. And that's unanimous. Okay, Mr. Plaisance.
E, to accept the low bid from Lamar Construction LLC in the amount of $2,568,000 for the rebuilding of building number 7 at Bayou Blue Elementary School. So moved.
Second, please. Mr. Young, comments? Move forward. Comments from the public, not listed. Letter F, please.
To accept the low bid from Grand Isle Shipyard LLC in the amount of $1,460,335.40. Base bid and alternate number 1 for the Hurricane Ida permanent repairs at Lockport Middle and Raceland Middle School. So moved.
We have a second. Mr. Peter, any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Let's vote. Unanimous.
G, to award the lowest, most responsive and responsive bidder, Stat Waste Stream Services for wastewater treatment services for a 3-year term at a cost of $29,657.18.
So we have a second. Family. Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Let's vote. And that's unanimous. I want to thank the committee members. A lot of verbiage there, and we appreciate the board's understanding as we went through each of these. New business number 10. Letter A, approve the early childhood facilitator job description. Mr. Robbie Lee.
Superintendent Martin, President Bernard, this position is currently a grant-funded part-time position. However, a full-time position is needed effective July 1st, 2023 for the early childhood expansion. So I'm asking your approval for this.
Peter, so moved. Do we have a second? Bourgeois, any discussion on the board? Any discussion from the public concerning this particular? Not, let's vote. Letter B. Our unanimous vote. Letter B, to consider authorizing the superintendent to request permission from the district attorney to employ special counsel, namely Mrs. Kendra Kimball of Immigration Support Services, and adopting a resolution requesting from the Attorney General the hiring of Mrs. Kimball, pending the approval of the district attorney. Do I have a motion, Mr. LaFont? Do we have a second? Abbott? Ms. Lee?
Yes, sir. Superintendent Martin, President Bernard, and annually the board is asked to authorize the superintendent to request permission from the district attorney to employ special counsel, Ms. Kimball, for the processing of H-1B visas and green card applications on behalf of the LaFourche Parish School Board. Asking for your permission.
Discussion?
And she's been doing this for us for several years. It's very involved.
Any other discussion? Mr. LaFleur?
I just think now more than ever, this is needed, and we need to continue with this.
Okay, any other board comments? Mr. Booth?
I understand this is primarily for our French immersion teachers and
Mr. Lee, is that correct? How many French immersion teachers do
We have 3 right now, but we have several that will possibly qualify for this.
So she can issue the green cards and intermediate. With the French teachers, is that for a 7-year time, or are they issued a green
It's
card?
dependent on the immigration, how they have that all placed out. And so eventually, many of them are here for 3 years, and then they can extend. And once they have passed their extension, then they can apply
For a permanent card.
And many of them want to stay with us, so that's a great thing.
Any other questions? Other comments? Let's vote. And it's unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Letter C, to consider authorizing the superintendent to request permission from the district attorney to employ special counsel, namely Mr. Patrick Emedy of the law office of Patrick Emedy, and adopting a resolution requesting from the attorney general the hiring of Mr. Emedy pending the approval of the district attorney. Do we have a motion? Bourgeois, do we have a second? Yes. Ms. Martin?
Yes, sir. Mr. President, you may remember back in, I believe, January, we adjusted the rates associated with these fees. We did not touch his contract. This would be the actual contract for a 2-year period. It will end October 31 of 2024 if approved.
Any other comments by members of the board? Any comments from the public? Ms. Emedy? If not, thank you, Mr. Norman. Number 11, memorial resolutions. That will start with Mrs. Julia Barlow, a retired teacher. Mr. T.
Mrs. Julia Barlow was hired by LaFourche Parish School District on August the 16th, 1991, as a teacher at Thibodeau Elementary School. She also taught at St. Charles Elementary School during her career. Ms. Barlow retired on June the 2nd, 2001, having served the LaFourche Parish School District for a total of 10 years. And I'd like to add that I knew Ms. Barlow and also her husband Julian, and Julian. He also taught for the school system, and expressed my condolences to him and his family.
Thank you. Any other comments concerning Ms. Barlow? If not, Mrs. Sandra Mahler, retired paraprofessional, Dr. Dion.
Mrs. Sandra Mahler was hired by the LaFourche Parish School District on December 13, 1988, as a paraprofessional at Thibodeau Elementary School. Ms. Mahler retired on May 27, 2016, having served the LaFourche Parish School District for a total of 27.5 years.
Thank you, Dr. Dion.
Mr. President, I move that these resolutions be adopted by general consent and that a copy of these resolutions be recorded on a special page of our minute book.
Thank you. With no objection, let the record reflect that these resolutions were adopted by general consent and will be recorded on a special page of our minute book. Thank you. That said, 12, superintendent's update. We received an update from Superintendent Martin on the current operations within the district. I have a motion for that. Don't need a motion on that? Good. Mr. Martin.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I'll start by talking about our facilities. We've got 3 sites that we've targeted for potential improvements beyond hurricane Ida repairs. These sites are in critical need to be upgraded if they're going to continue to serve children for the next 30 or 40 years. Those sites include St. Charles Elementary, Grayson Upper Elementary School, and Golden Meadow Lower Elementary School. So I'll start in the north and work my way south. St. Charles Elementary had some portable buildings in the back of the school that were Hurricane Ida damaged, but it also has an older, aging building right in front of it, and the main building itself is aging, and we have to transition that school to be a single point of entry hardened structure. So we're going to use the opportunity available to us through both the Hurricane Ida damages, the need to make it a modern single point entry school, and do some modifications to the building to make it a viable school for years and years to come. But it will be an expense over and above what FEMA is going to reimburse us. Moving to Raceland Upper Elementary School, it also has some needs that are beyond what the hurricane did to it, and it's going to cost us to make that school viable. The windows, sections of the building's envelope, the actual brick and mortar walls are a little porous and have to have put on them a weatherproofing to keep the water from penetrating the building. And we believe that there's some structural issues that have to be addressed as well. So this is going to be expenses that are above and beyond what Hurricane Ida will have caused and therefore what FEMA will reimburse us for. But again, that's a school that's a critical piece to being able to service children in the Raceland community. And we believe that these repairs are going to make the school viable for a long time and be much cheaper than the alternative, which is building a new school. Moving south, Golden Meadow Lower Elementary, which is right now housing both Golden Meadow Lower and Golden Meadow Upper, was already slated to accommodate both schools. We need to add some permanent classrooms so that school can accommodate both the lower and the upper for years to come. And that school is also in the process of getting a single point of entry front to that school to accommodate the office and make the building a hardened structure. So those 3 sites have been templated to be an expense above what Hurricane Ida FEMA funds are going to be used for. But again, they're key pieces to our ability to service kids and not build a new school. As we arrive at a budget that is going to be a byproduct of what FEMA is going to reimburse us for based on what buildings are 50% damaged, we'll know how extensively we can upgrade those 3 sites. Beyond those 3 sites, the vast majority of the repair work we're seeing throughout the parish is going to be reimbursed by FEMA at a 90% rate. But how we move forward, specifically with Golden Meadow Middle School and Bayou Bluff Elementary School, are going to determine a lot of things about those sites. Bayou Bluff Elementary School, one day it's not 50% damaged, the next day it is 50% damaged. And so we are once again in a position we're going to have to work with the local parish government for a potential final determination as to what percentage the building is damaged. If it is greater than 50% damaged, there actually is an opportunity there where you could build an elevated modern structure and have the entirety of that project be funded at a 90% FEMA reimbursable rate. So we don't want to rush to a solution, potentially leave an opportunity to build an enduring school for years and years to come. So that's true right now at Bayou Bluff Elementary School. It's also true at Golden Meadow Middle School. Both of these things are going to be presented to you by the All South Committee through the Land and Facilities Committee, and we'll make decisions based on the funds available and a path ahead. That's the situation with our facilities right now. I will tell you that if you saw the items presented to you tonight in the Land and Facilities section of the board agenda meeting, you're starting to see 5 and 6 contractors bidding on our work, and you're starting to see a much tighter group of bids being put into the work. So the numbers are coming to a more consistently presented rate, so you can actually anticipate and project some cost, which is a great thing. And we're having contractors bidding on our work, which means they're getting fixed, which is hugely important as we are right now halfway through hurricane season, and all of our buildings, not one roof has been permanently repaired. We still have temporary repairs on all of our roofs. So we are obviously thinking about that constantly. Moving on to staffing, we have 8 teacher vacancies throughout the district. I will tell you that that is more than we've ever historically had. but that is true across the state. Many of the districts in our region have numbers that are 5 and 10 times that amount. And so that is something that HR is working on daily, and we are developing a plan to not only hire folks, but to develop them into becoming certified teachers internally. This is something that is going to allow us to take a person from being a degreed person with a passion for children and turn them into certified teachers. We're hoping in as little as 2 years. 1 year of working in the system and prove that they want to do this, and then 1 year of working with our district staff through a state-authorized certification program to get them fully certified. So this is going to be a huge step in the right direction to fill in the holes that we now have in our district. Teaching and learning. Our principals have conducted and recorded over 1,000 walkthroughs of our teachers so far this school year. That is a tremendous effort to get back to what has made this district a very special place for students, which is high-quality teaching. And our principals are in classrooms giving high-quality feedback, making sure that our teachers get the answers that they need timely and that they get the support and direction that they need. So I'm very proud of our principals, and I hope that over the next few weeks, some of you get to visit our schools on special events nights and football games, because this school system has responded with a just remarkable amount of energy this year following what was a very difficult year last year. But it's looking very, very good for our students. Looking ahead, we continue to focus on our staff and providing the highest quality services we can, but that will require additional revenue. We are working with other local agencies and local governments to arrive at a proposal. We're hoping soon to present to this body for approval that will ultimately lead to what we're hoping to be higher salaries for our employees while maintaining a nearly cost-neutral business and community and taxpayer support. So those partnerships have been invaluable, but we have to invest in our educators and our support staff to be viable moving forward. That is my report for tonight. I can't thank you enough for your continued support. And looking ahead, I feel like we've really rounded a corner and things are in the upswing.
Any comments from any members of the
Do you want to mention the latest accolades that we received from the state?
I was actually going to hold out on that one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're
Okay,
quite
you
right.
don't
You're
have to
quite
say
right.
it.
No. I don't think it's top secret, but the school district has been tapped by the State Department, and very few districts get this as being a model of excellence. And this is really due to a specific component of our school system. Science instruction, we rolled out a new science curriculum and the entire state struggled with it. But our curriculum team, beginning with Mr. Kenny Delco, Ms. Ann Hodson, Jimmy Oncolade, and the entire staff of curriculum people, they did a great job of supporting principals and supporting teachers. And the State Department leaves LaFouche Parish and says, why can't everybody get it like this? Right? And so it's the team effort, and it's a really great achievement that I really wish I could take credit for, but I had absolutely nothing to do with it. I'm just lucky to work with a great group of people. So, thank you for any other comments?
Back to the tax proposal, I just wanted to compliment. I've sat in on a couple of the meetings with Mr. Martin and President Chasson, and I wanted to compliment both of them for how well they have worked together to try to get this done to benefit both the parish and the district. We have two excellent leaders, and I want to compliment both Superintendent Martin and President Chasson on that regard.
Well said. Well said. Any other comments? You will be able to send that to us. You'll be able to post that to us. Yes, is there a comment? Yes, ma'am.
I'll only take a
Could you come up and state your name and podium loudly and clearly?
Yes, sir.
And your address?
My name is Buffy Lynn Charpentier. I reside at 109 Alseed Street, Golden Meadow. I am actually across the street neighbor of Golden Meadow Lower Elementary. And I was pleased to hear you address that school in your update, Superintendent Martin, because as a neighbor and a product of that school, I have a love for that school because I went there. There is another issue that you might want to include in your considerations for the land and facilities team whenever that comes up on the table, and that is parking. That school has a great lack in that department me being across the street, I see it all the time when parent involvement activities happen, story time, and especially at the end of the year for awards time or PBIS activities. So what we have is people parking in my yard, parking in my driveway. People that know me do that, and they know that I welcome that. But there's a limited amount of parking on the front of that school, which I personally think should be reserved for visitors. There's teacher parking on the side, and there's a really nice size lot on the back of the property behind the cafeteria that holds a really nice sized puddle of water almost 95% of the time. So drainage is obviously an issue. So if that could be resolved, I think more teachers could be parking there and more parents might be willing to park there. But I feel like there's definitely, there could be more concrete there or gravel or whatever it would take. But I think that that would help the facility. I always had a dream that with that beautiful big backyard, which unfortunately doesn't have any playground equipment, but I know that Thibodeau Regional was supposed to provide that. We were on that agenda, but the hurricane messed that up as well. But I had a dream of a beautiful new school, especially with the combination of the upper and the lower elementary on that property. But I know that obviously funds are a huge issue as far as that's concerned. But at the very least, I think that parking should be maybe worked into some type of plan if there is an improvement plan for that. And I'm actually a candidate for school board in that district, so it's my hope that maybe I can be a part of that planning one day. So thank you very much for your time.
Very good.
What do I do with this card,
As
sir?
a product of that school, I agree.
Just leave it here?
You can leave it there.
Okay.
We'll pick it up. Thank you very much for that recommendation. I'm sure we'll take that into account. That's certainly good. All right, with that said, the tentative dates of future meetings. Policy and Procedure Committees, Tuesday, September 2022. Transportation Committee, Tuesday, September 20th, 2022. Academics Committee, Tuesday, September 20th, 2022. Insurance Committee, Wednesday, September 21st, 2022. Finance Committee, Wednesday, September 21st, 2022. Land and Facility Management Committee, Wednesday, September 21st, 2022. Advisory Committee, Monday, October 3rd, 2022. Regular board meeting, Wednesday, October 5th, 2022. And again, these are tentative. Some might be combined depending upon the amount of substance that needs to be presented to those committees.
Mr. President, before you adjourn, I just wanted to let everyone know, if you had not heard, that my old law partner and former Judge John J. Ernie passed away yesterday. JJ was not only my partner, he was my mentor, he was my friend, and he's probably a good reason why I am the lawyer I am today. Please keep JJ, his wife Rita, and their family in your prayers. He was very instrumental in starting the drug court in this parish.
And let me add something. One of a former outstanding school board member who left us too soon, Mr. Tim Long. If we can make it tomorrow, will be a dedication at the Career Magnet Center, and at 5 o'clock, and in his honor. And if we can make it, I know the family would appreciate it. As many of us that can go there, that would be well received. Any other announcements by any members of the board? Mr. President.
I'd just like to issue my condolences to Ruley Barrios and Jimbo for the loss of their son Bailey. Tragic accident. Such a shame for a young man to pass away at 20. Thank you.
Another real quick, Mr. George Babin, former supervisor, recently lost, unfortunately, yesterday his wife. So condolences for him. Any other comments? No?